This is not an ordinary moment, and you are not an ordinary listener. Something greater than chance has brought you here, something unseen yet intentional. Deep within your spirit, a stirring has begun, a quiet awakening that refuses to be ignored. You may not have words for it yet, but your soul recognizes it. There comes a time when God does not speak softly through circumstances, but firmly through inner conviction. And this is one of those times. Today is not about motivation alone, it is about alignment. It is about stepping out of emotional dependence on outcomes and learning how to live from a place of divine certainty as someone who already knows the victory has been settled. Too many people are exhausted, not because they are doing too much, but because they are carrying what God never asked them to carry. They are emotionally attached to results, mentally entangled with fear, and spiritually drained from trying to control what was never theirs to manage. They wake up every day hoping things will work out, praying with anxiety instead of authority, believing in God but living as if everything depends on them. This inner contradiction creates constant tension. Faith says one thing, but the heart feels another. The mouth declares trust, but the mind rehearses loss. God never intended for you to live divided like this. Detachment is not indifference. Detachment is not carelessness. Detachment is supreme trust. It is the ability to release control because you know who holds it. When you detach, you are not giving up. You are stepping back into your rightful position. You are acknowledging that God is God and you are not. The moment you stop trying to force outcomes, you make room for divine order. The moment you loosen your grip on how things must happen, you allow God to work in ways far greater than your limited expectations. Many people think faith means intense effort. They believe if they worry enough, think enough, pray harder, suffer longer, then God will finally move. But true faith does not strain. True faith rests. True faith knows. Living like you have already won is not arrogance. It is agreement with divine truth. It is aligning your inner state with what God has already ordained. Before you saw the problem, God already saw the solution. Before you felt the pressure, God had already prepared provision. Before you even knew what to pray, God already knew what to give. The reason detachment feels frightening to many is because they have learned to feel safe through control. They measure security by what they can see, touch, manage, and predict. But the life of faith does not operate on visible guarantees. It operates on inner assurance. God does not ask you to see the whole path. God asks you to trust the one who designed it. When you detach from outcomes, you are not saying, I don't care. You are saying, I trust God more than my understanding. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start living as if it already has. Your posture changes, your decisions change, your energy changes. Fear loses its authority because fear feeds on uncertainty. When you live like you have already won, uncertainty has no home in you. You still take action, but your actions are no longer desperate. You still move forward, but you are no longer anxious. You work, but you do not strive. You expect, but you do not cling. God never called you to live in suspense about your destiny. He never intended your life to feel like a gamble. The reason you feel restless is not because God is silent, but because your heart is still negotiating instead of surrendering. Detachment begins when you stop arguing with reality and start trusting divine timing. It begins when you say within yourself, whatever unfolds, God remains good. Whatever changes, God remains faithful. Whatever delays, God remains in control. Living like you have already won means you stop postponing peace. Most people tell themselves, I'll relax when this is resolved. I'll be happy when this changes. I'll feel secure when I reach that point. That is a trap. Peace that depends on circumstances is not peace. it is postponement. God did not design peace to be a reward at the end of the journey. Peace is meant to be the foundation from which you walk. Victory is not something you arrive at. It is something you move from. When your inner world is settled, your outer world begins to rearrange itself. Anxiety sends mixed signals into your life. Faith sends clear ones. When you live as though everything is uncertain, you unknowingly agree with fear. When you live as though the outcome is already handled by God, you align yourself with divine order. Detachment is the doorway through which miracles enter, because miracles require space and anxiety fills every room. You must understand this deeply. God is not testing your endurance, He is teaching you trust. He is not waiting for you to suffer enough. He is waiting for you to release enough. Release the need to know how. Release the need to control when. Release the habit of measuring your worth by results. When you detach, you stop telling God how to do His work and you start allowing Him to do it fully. Living like you have already won also means you stop reacting to every emotional wave. You no longer let good days inflate you or bad days crush you. Your identity becomes anchored, not reactive. People who are attached to outcomes are easily shaken. A single delay feels like failure. A single obstacle feels like rejection. But when you are detached, you understand that movement does not always look like progress, and silence does not mean absence. God works deeply before He works visibly. There is a calm authority that comes over a person who knows the result is settled. Their words carry weight. Their presence brings peace. They are not rushing to prove anything. They are not chasing validation. They are not begging for approval. They walk with quiet confidence because they know they are held by something greater than circumstances. This is not self-confidence. This is God confidence. It is knowing that even if everything around you shifts, the foundation beneath you does not move. Detachment also purifies your desires. When you are attached, you want things because you fear lack. When you are detached, you desire from abundance. You no longer say, I need this to be okay. You say, if this is aligned, it will come. And if it does not come, you trust that God is protecting you from what you cannot yet see. This level of trust frees you from disappointment because you no longer interpret every closed door as loss. You see it as guidance. God is not impressed by panic. God responds to faith. Faith is not loud desperation, it is quiet certainty. When you live like you have already won, you send a powerful message into the unseen realm. You are no longer negotiating with fear. You are no longer waiting for permission to be whole. You have decided to agree with what God has already decided. Many are praying for breakthrough while living as though defeat is possible. Their words ask for victory, but their emotions expect loss. This inner conflict weakens spiritual alignment. You cannot live in victory while rehearsing defeat. Detachment resolves this conflict. It brings your emotions into agreement with your faith. It allows you to pray from confidence instead of anxiety, from gratitude instead of desperation. You must stop tying your sense of safety to temporary things. Money changes, people change, circumstances shift, even your own strength fluctuates, but God does not change. When God becomes your reference point instead of outcomes, stability enters your life. You stop living on emotional highs and lows. You stop feeling crushed by delays. You stop interpreting waiting as punishment. You begin to see waiting as preparation. Living like you have already won does not mean you deny reality. It means you interpret reality through faith. You acknowledge challenges, but you do not crown them as final. You see obstacles, but you do not bow to them. You understand that what appears unfinished to you is already complete in divine order. God does not start what He does not intend to finish. The greatest freedom you will ever experience is the freedom of letting go while moving forward. You still act, you still prepare, you still show up, but your heart is no longer heavy. Your sleep improves because you are no longer carrying tomorrow. Your joy deepens because it is no longer borrowed from circumstances. Your prayers become calmer, stronger, clearer because they are rooted in trust. Detachment is the moment you stop asking life to reassure you and start allowing God to sustain you. It is when you no longer need constant signs to feel secure. You trust the unseen more than the visible. You stop asking, is it working? And start declaring, it is unfolding. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. It changes the way you speak, the way you wait, the way you respond when you live like you have already won. You stop living in survival mode. Survival is rooted in fear. Faith is rooted in abundance. You begin to make decisions from clarity instead of panic. You stop rushing into things just to escape discomfort. You learn to sit in uncertainty without losing peace, because your peace is no longer tied to certainty. It is tied to God. God is inviting you into a higher way of living, a way where your inner state no longer mirrors external chaos. He is calling you to detach, not because He wants distance, but because He wants trust. Detachment is not pulling away from God. It is leaning fully into Him. It is saying, I release this outcome, knowing that whatever comes will carry you. Wisdom. The moment you truly detach, something breaks inside you. Something heavy, something old. The constant inner pressure to make everything work loosens its grip. You breathe differently. You think differently. You begin to experience life as something guided rather than something fought. You realize that you were never meant to wrestle your destiny into existence. You were meant to walk into what God has already prepared, step by step, moment by moment, with a heart that knows, even before it sees, that the victory is not in question, that the path may twist and stretch, that timing may challenge your patience, but that the outcome remains held, secured, and guarded by God. And as you continue to move forward with this understanding, something within you settles even deeper, and you begin to recognize that this calm is not weakness, this stillness is not passivity, this quiet assurance is strength forming at its deepest level, reshaping how you see yourself, how you interpret delay, how you respond to pressure, and how you stand firm even when nothing around you seems resolved. Because inside you, something already is. And as this inner settlement deepens, you begin to notice something extraordinary happening within you. The noise that once dominated your thoughts starts to lose its volume. The urgent inner voice that kept asking, what if, grows quieter, not because questions have disappeared, but because trust has taken their place. When you detach and live like you have already won, you are no longer at war with uncertainty. You understand that uncertainty is not a threat when God is the author of your path. You stop demanding guarantees before moving forward because you realize that obedience does not require explanation. God does not reveal everything in advance because faith is not built on full visibility. It is built on alignment. Many people belie Eve that peace will come after clarity. But the truth is, clarity often comes after peace. When your heart is calm, your perception sharpens. When you stop panicking about outcomes, you begin to discern direction more clearly. Detachment clears your inner vision. Anxiety clouds judgment, but faith refines it. God guides those who are willing to move without emotional detachment to results, because their movement is not fueled by fear or desperation. It is fueled by trust. Living like you have already won reshapes the way you interpret resistance. You no longer see resistance as evidence that you are failing. You begin to recognize it as confirmation that growth is happening. Resistance is not opposition to your destiny. It is often proof that your life is expanding beyond old limitations. When you are attached, resistance feels personal. When you are detached, resistance feels temporary. You understand that nothing can block what God has determined. It can only delay what you are not yet prepared to carry. God does not rush because He does not fear loss. He does not panic because He does not lack power. And when you align with Him, you begin to move with the same steadiness. You stop confusing speed with progress. You stop forcing doors that require alignment, not pressure. Detachment teaches you patience without passivity. You wait without weakening. You trust without drifting. You stay engaged without becoming emotionally consumed. There is a deeper truth many overlook. Attachment binds your identity to performance. Detachment restores your identity to purpose. When you are attached to outcomes, success inflates you and failure crushes you. Your sense of worth rises and falls with results. But when you detach, your worth becomes anchored in who you are under God, not in what you produce. This is why detachment is not loss, it is liberation. You are no longer enslaved by results. You are free to act with integrity, consistency, and courage. Living like you have already won also transforms how you face delays. Delays no longer feel like rejection. They feel like refinement. You understand that God does not withhold to punish. He withholds to prepare. What you receive before you are ready can harm you more than what you never receive at all. Detachment allows you to wait without resentment because you trust that timing is not an enemy. Timing is wisdom in motion. When you detach, you stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your mind. Fear survives on imagination. Faith survives on remembrance. You remember who God has been, not just what you want Him to do. You draw strength from the understanding that nothing in your life has escaped divine awareness. Even what feels chaotic to you is ordered under God. Even what feels uncertain is known by Him. This remembrance stabilizes your emotions. You stop living mentally exhausted from fighting battles that were never yours to fight. There is also a powerful humility that comes with detachment. You no longer try to appear strong. You no longer try to convince others of your certainty. You simply are. Your calm becomes your testimony. Your steadiness becomes your declaration. People sense something different in you, not because you speak louder, but because you are anchored deeper. When you live like you have already won, you do not need to announce it. Your presence carries it. Detachment teaches you how to respond rather than react. Reaction is driven by emotion. Response is guided by wisdom. When you are attached, every unexpected event triggers panic or frustration. When you are detached, you pause. You observe. You ask inwardly for guidance instead of immediately defending or controlling. This pause is sacred. It creates space for divine insight. God often speaks in the space that fear tries to fill. You also begin to understand that detachment strengthens your prayers. Instead of pleading, you align. Instead of begging, you trust. Your prayers shift from God, please fix this, to God, I trust you in this. This shift is powerful. It reflects maturity of faith. It tells God that you are no longer trying to use prayer as a tool for control, but as an expression of surrender. Such prayers carry weight because they are free of fear. Living like you have already won reshapes your expectations. You stop expecting disappointment. You stop bracing yourself for failure. You stop emotionally preparing for loss. This does not make you naive. It makes you aligned. Expectation is a form of agreement. When you expect defeat, you unconsciously agree with it. When you expect divine order, you align with it. Detachment allows you to expect good without clinging to specific forms. God often works beyond what you imagine, but attachment limits your imagination to your preferences. Detachment opens you to outcomes greater than your plans. You release your narrow vision so that divine wisdom can operate freely. You stop telling God what success must look like. You trust Him to define it better than you ever could. This trust creates expansion within you. Your life becomes less rigid and more responsive to divine direction. Another powerful transformation occurs in your relationships. When you are detached, you stop trying to extract validation, security, or identity from people. You love without possession. You give without expectation. You engage without dependency. This kind of freedom heals connections. It removes pressure. It allows relationships to breathe. You stop fearing abandonment because your sense of wholeness is no longer borrowed from others. It is rooted in God. Detachment also deepens your resilience. You stop collapsing emotionally when things do not go your way. You recover faster. You adapt wiser. You stay grounded even when circumstances shift. This resilience is not hardness, it is flexibility anchored in faith. You bend without breaking because your foundation is not fragile. God becomes your reference point, not your environment. Living like you have already won teaches you to honor process. You no longer rush growth. You no longer despise small beginnings. You understand that depth takes time, strength is built slowly, wisdom accumulates gradually. Detachment allows you to stay present in the process without constantly rushing to the outcome. You begin to see value in preparation. You recognize that what God is forming in you matters more than what He is forming for you. There is also a quiet joy that emerges when you detach, not excitement dependent on circumstances, but contentment rooted in trust. This joy does not disappear when challenges arise. It remains steady. It flows underneath difficulties like a deep current. This joy is not denial, it is assurance. It comes from knowing that no moment is wasted, no experience is meaningless, and no effort aligned with God is ever lost. Detachment frees you from comparison. When you live like you have already won, you stop measuring your progress against others. You understand that every journey is uniquely timed. Comparison only exists when you doubt your own path. Confidence in God's guidance dissolves envy. You celebrate others without feeling diminished. You wait without feeling left behind. You move forward without rushing to catch up. God does not need you to hurry. He needs you to trust. Detachment is the language of trust. It tells God, I will do my part faithfully and I will release the rest. This partnership transforms how you experience life. You stop feeling burdened by responsibility that belongs to God. You carry obedience, not outcomes. You handle effort, not results. This distinction is life-changing. As you continue living from this place, you realize that detachment does not weaken your desire, it purifies it. You still dream, you still aspire, you still move forward with intention, but your desires are no longer driven by fear of lack or need for control. They are guided by purpose. You want what aligns, not just what satisfies temporarily. This alignment brings peace even when desires take time to manifest. Living like you have already won allows you to stand firm in seasons of silence. When answers do not come quickly, you do not assume abandonment. You trust that silence is not absence. God works deeply in silence, shaping character, refining intention, strengthening endurance. Detachment allows you to remain faithful even when reassurance is delayed. You learn to trust God's presence without constant confirmation. This way of living changes how you carry yourself through life. Your steps become steadier. Your words become calmer. Your reactions become measured. You are no longer easily shaken by opinions, obstacles, or uncertainty. You live from an inner knowing that does not require constant reinforcement. This knowing is not pride. It is peace rooted in divine order. When you detach and live like you have already won, you are not escaping responsibility. You are stepping into alignment. You become a vessel through which God can work without interference. Fear no longer distorts your vision. Control no longer blocks your flow. You move forward with open hands, open heart, and settled spirit, trusting that whatever unfolds will do so under God's wisdom, that every step is guided even when it feels unclear, that every moment carries meaning even when it feels ordinary, and that your life is not drifting but being led, shaped, refined, and strengthened by a power far greater than circumstance, deeper than emotion, steadier than time. And as this understanding continues to settle within you, it reshapes not only how you face challenges, but how you wake up each day, how you carry your responsibilities, how you wait, how you hope, how you trust, and how you stand grounded even when the world around you feels unsettled. Because within you, there is an unshakable awareness that God remains in control, that the path continues to unfold with purpose, and that the victory you live from is not imagined, not forced, not delayed, but already established in divine order. Now I ask you to pause, not outwardly, but inwardly, and take an honest look at how you have been living. Look at what you have been holding too tightly. Look at where fear has been quietly making decisions for you. Look at how often you have postponed peace, delayed obedience, or shrunk your faith to fit your comfort. This moment is an invitation not to try harder, but to trust deeper. God is not calling you to exhaustion. He is calling you to alignment. He is not asking you to carry the weight of tomorrow. He is asking you to walk faithfully today. This is the hour to release what has been draining your spirit. Release the need to control every outcome. Release the habit of measuring your life by visible proof. Release the belief that you must struggle endlessly to deserve what God has already purposed. Detachment is not retreat, it is return. It is returning to the truth that your life is held, guided, and sustained by God. When you let go of fear, you make room for faith. When you let go of anxiety, you make room for wisdom. When you let go of control, you make room for divine order. I challenge you now to live differently. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances improve, but now. Wake up with trust instead of tension. Speak with confidence instead of doubt. Move with obedience instead of hesitation. Let your decisions reflect faith rather than fear. Let your posture reflect certainty rather than desperation. Walk through your days as someone who knows that God is not reacting to life, but directing it. Do not wait for everything to make sense before you surrender. Do not wait for fear to disappear before you move forward. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is obedience in His presence. Faith is not the absence of questions, it is trust beyond them. God does not require perfection from you, only willingness. He does not demand control, only surrender. He does not ask you to see the whole path, only to take the next step with trust. Let this be the moment you stop living as though your life is uncertain. Let this be the moment you stop negotiating with fear. Let this be the moment you choose inner peace over outer pressure, trust over tension, surrender over striving. Draw closer to God, not with panic, but with confidence. Seek Him not because you are afraid of losing, but because you know you are held. Carry this truth with you into every space you enter. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are not abandoned. God is present, purposeful, and precise. Your life is unfolding under His wisdom. Walk forward detached from fear, anchored in trust, steady in faith, and grounded in the unshakable assurance that when God leads, nothing is wasted, nothing is random, and nothing is ever out of His control. When I look at you today, I can almost sense the heaviness you've been carrying, the silent battles no one sees, the questions that echo inside your heart when the night gets too quiet. And yet, right now, in this very moment, I feel an unmistakable pull in my spirit, a divine stirring that cannot be ignored. I feel God preparing something beyond everything you thought was possible. I feel God aligning circumstances you cannot see. I feel God shifting the very atmosphere around your life because God is about to do the impossible for you. There are moments in your life when everything stands still, when you feel as if time has paused just long enough for you to question every dream, every prayer, every ounce of faith you've ever carried. But when God is preparing to do the impossible, He often allows everything around you to look completely opposite of what He promised. Because impossible situations are the perfect stage for God to reveal His unlimited power. You've been asking for a sign, hoping for clarity, searching for direction. What you don't realize is that the impossible season you've been walking through is the very sign you have been begging God for. This is not the moment to break. This is the moment to recognize that God is about to step into your life with a force that overturns every obstacle, every barrier, every limitation that stood against you. Impossible is not a barrier to God. Impossible is an invitation for God to show you who He truly is. Impossible is the environment where divine power thrives. When everything looks possible, people take the credit. But when nothing looks possible, that is when God takes over. And I need you to understand something deep within your spirit today. God is not preparing you for something ordinary, something predictable, or something small. God is preparing you for something so extraordinary, so staggering, so beyond your imagination that when it happens, you will know without a shadow of a doubt that it could have only come from God. I know what happens inside a person when they're standing at the edge of an impossible season. Doubt rises, fear whispers, your own understanding tries to convince you that what you're believing for is unrealistic. And yet deep down, something keeps pulling you, something keeps whispering, something keeps urging you not to give up. That whisper is not human. That whisper is not coming from your mind. That whisper is God reminding you that He has already written your breakthrough into existence. There are people who look at their circumstances and say, there is no way out. But God looks at the same circumstances and says, watch what I am about to do. There are moments when you feel like your strength has reached a breaking point, when your prayers seem unanswered, when your plans crumble. But if you could see what God is orchestrating behind the scenes, you would understand that the delay was not denial. The silence was not abandonment. The struggle was not punishment. Every moment was part of a divine setup for something far greater than you ever expected. When God decides to do the impossible, nothing and no one can stop Him. Not your past, not your failures, not your mistakes, not your limitations, not the opinions of others. God does not ask permission. God does not negotiate with obstacles. God does not wait for conditions to make sense. When God moves, reality bends around His will. When God speaks, natural laws rearrange themselves to obey. When God decides to bless you, it will not matter who stood against you, who doubted you, who tried to block you. What God has ordained will come to pass. And there is nothing in this world or beyond this world that can override the power of God. You may have reached the end of your strength, but you have not reached the end of God's power. You may not see a path forward, but God does not need a path. He creates one. You may feel surrounded, but God surrounds what surrounds you. You may feel small, but God's presence turns your weakness into unstoppable force. God does not operate according to human logic. God does not respond to earthly limitations. God works according to divine purpose, and divine purpose is unstoppable. There is something you must understand right now. The impossible season you are facing is not a sign that God left. It is a sign that God is near. God never prepares you for the possible. God prepares you for the impossible, because impossible victories bring the greatest glory to God. And God has chosen you as the vessel through which He will demonstrate His power. There have been times in your life when you wondered why God allowed certain battles. You questioned why certain doors stayed closed, why certain people walked away, why certain plans fell apart. What you didn't realize was that God was removing what would have weakened you, blocking what would have derailed you, and protecting you from paths that would have destroyed the promise He placed inside you. God allows loss so He can bring restoration greater than what you lost. God allows endings so He can open doors you never imagined. God allows pain so He can reveal strength you never knew you carried. Every unanswered question, every confusing moment, every struggle was preparation for the miracle God is now positioning you to receive. People see the outside of your life, but God sees what you carry inside. People see your circumstances, but God sees your faith. People see your flaws, but God sees your potential. People measure you by what you've done, but God measures you by what He placed within you. And that is why God is about to do the impossible for you, not because of what you have, but because of what God put inside you. You were chosen for this moment. You were prepared for this season. You were positioned for this breakthrough long before you even realized it. There is a moment in every life when the weight of discouragement tries to crush the spirit, when your prayers feel unanswered, when you wonder if God even hears you anymore. But I want you to feel something today, a shift in the spiritual atmosphere around your life. You have been walking through darkness, but the darkness is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that God is preparing to reveal His light. You have been facing resistance, but resistance is a sign of impending breakthrough. You have been feeling pressure, but pressure is a sign that what God is birthing in your life is too great to remain hidden. God does not allow pressure unless there is purpose behind it. And if you've been feeling increased pressure lately, it is because God is pushing your life into a level you have never seen before. There are seasons when God moves quietly, working slowly, preparing us gently. But there are also seasons when God moves suddenly, rapidly, with undeniable force. And I am telling you now, your life is entering a season of divine acceleration. God is not just planning to bless you, God is planning to elevate you. God is not just planning to answer your prayers, God is planning to exceed them. God is not just planning to open doors for you, God is planning to break open doors that were shut for years. When God does the impossible, He does not do it partially. He does it completely. He does it undeniably. He does it in a way that leaves no room for doubt. And when your breakthrough comes, people will ask you how it happened. And you will know that it was not your strength, not your connections, not your timing. It was God. You have walked through seasons that seemed unfair. You have carried burdens that seemed too heavy. You have endured battles that seemed endless. But you must understand, God has counted every tear, felt every struggle, and recorded every sacrifice. God has seen the nights when you couldn't sleep. God has seen the days when you kept going even though you wanted to give up. God has seen the moments when you gave your last ounce of strength, when you kept faith alive, even when everything seemed to fall apart. And because you did not stop believing, because you did not stop pushing, because you did not let go of your faith, God is about to honor you in a way that no human could. You are standing on the edge of a divine moment. You are standing on the edge of a breakthrough so powerful that it will redefine your identity, your future, your entire life. And I want you to open your heart, because as I speak these words, something is shifting inside you. God is igniting something. God is stirring something. God is awakening something that has been dormant for too long. That dream that felt dead is coming alive. That hope you buried is rising again. That promise you thought was lost is returning stronger than ever. God does not forget what He has spoken over your life. What God declares cannot return empty. And what God begins, God finishes. Sometimes the impossible is not about what you're facing. Sometimes the impossible is about what God is shaping inside you. The strength you're developing, the resilience you're gaining, the determination that is growing inside you. This is preparation. God does not give impossible battles to weak people. God gives impossible battles to those He intends to lift higher. And right now, God is using every challenge to build something extraordinary within you. You are not breaking, you are being built. I know you've asked, why is it taking so long? But you must understand, timing is everything with God. God is not delaying your breakthrough, God is perfecting it. God was not asking you to wait, God was preparing the right moment. Because when the impossible happens, it must happen at a time when it brings maximum glory, maximum transformation, and maximum elevation for your life. If it came earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. If it came later, you would have missed the impact. But now, Now the timing is aligning. Now the season is changing. Now the atmosphere is shifting. God is preparing to bring you into a moment where everything aligns at once. There is a divine reason you survived what should have destroyed you. There is a divine reason you endured storms that seemed unbearable. There is a divine reason you made it through situations that broke other people. You were not kept alive by accident. God preserved you because your story is not finished. God preserved you because your purpose is greater than your pain. God preserved you because your destiny requires everything you walked through. And now, after everything you've endured, after everything you've prayed for, after everything you've waited for, God is about to step into your life with a miracle that will silence every doubt and erase every limitation. You may feel like you've been forgotten, but God does not forget. You may feel overlooked, but God does not overlook. You may feel lick. Doors have been shut against you repeatedly, but when God decides to open a door, no power in existence can shut it. And the door God is about to open for you is not just any door. It is the door that changes everything. It is the door that shifts your destiny. It is the door that lifts your life into a new realm of blessing, opportunity, and divine favor. There will be moments in the coming days when you will feel an unusual surge of confidence. Moments when you feel peace without explanation. Moments when you feel boldness rising in your spirit. That is God preparing you for what is coming. That is God shifting your spiritual posture. That is God aligning your heart with your destiny. When God is about to do the impossible, He strengthens the spirit before He changes the situation. Because you must be ready to receive what God is about to release. Hear me clearly. There is nothing ordinary about what is coming. God is not preparing you for a small answer, a minor improvement, or a partial victory. God is preparing you for something that will astonish you, something that will cause you to break into gratitude. Something that will cause your spirit to tremble with awe. Something that will cause you to see God in a way you never have before. And this breakthrough will not just elevate your life, it will elevate your faith. It will transform the way you see challenges, the way you see yourself, and the way you see God. Because when God does the impossible for you, your entire understanding of what is possible shifts forever. You must prepare yourself, not by trying to figure out how it will happen, but by strengthening your faith that it will happen. God does not require you to understand the path. God requires you to trust the one who built it. You are not responsible for making the impossible possible. You're responsible for believing that the one who created the heavens and the earth is fully capable of transforming your situation in a moment. There are breakthroughs that happen slowly, gradually, step by step. And then there are breakthroughs that happen suddenly, instantly, unexpectedly, without warning. And what is coming for you carries the weight of the sudden. You will wake up one day and realize the battle you've been fighting has shifted. You will wake up one day and realize the solution you've been searching for has arrived. You'll wake up one day and realize that what you once called impossible has now become your reality. Right now, God is not just preparing circumstances. God is preparing you. God is strengthening you mentally, spiritually, emotionally. God is clearing out what does not belong. God is removing people who cannot go where you are going. God is closing doors that lead to old versions of you. God is cutting off paths that would weaken your future. Everything around you is shifting because God is building the environment required for the blessing that is coming. You have been saying, God, I'm waiting. But God is saying, I'm positioning you. You have been saying, God, I'm tired. But God is saying, I'm strengthening you. You have been saying, God, I don't see anything happening. But God is saying, you don't need to see it for me to perform it. God works in silence before He reveals in power. And right now, everything you don't see is just as important as everything you soon will see. God's greatest movements are often hidden until the moment they are manifested. I want you to understand something very important. You did not come this far to be abandoned. You did not fight this hard to be defeated. You did not pray this long to be denied. If God brought you to this point, God intends to finish what He started. God does not leave His work incomplete. What God begins, God completes with power. You are about to witness a level of breakthrough that will make you realize why the battle had to be so intense. The greater the calling, the greater the resistance, the greater the blessing, the greater the struggle, the greater the miracle, the greater the preparation. God was not punishing you. God was preparing you for a blessing so massive that it required a level of strength you did not have before. You are stepping into a moment when the impossible becomes possible, when the unexpected becomes your new reality, when miracles unfold not slowly but powerfully before your eyes. And when it happens, you will understand why every delay was necessary, why every struggle had purpose, why every closed door was protection, and why every setback was preparation. God is about to do the impossible in your life. Not someday, not eventually, not at an unknown time, far away. God is preparing to move now. God is preparing to change things now. God is preparing to open doors now. God is preparing to shift circumstances now. You are on the threshold of transformation, and nothing will stop what God is about to release into your life. And as this divine shift unfolds, your spirit will recognize it before your eyes see it, because God always whispers to the heart before He reveals to the world. That whisper you've been feeling, the urge to rise, the push to keep going, the sense that something is coming, that is confirmation. That is divine alignment. That is the evidence that your breakthrough is not a request anymore. It is a scheduled appointment in the calendar of God. God's power is not limited by what you lack. God's power is not limited by people. God's power is not limited by timing. God's power is not limited by natural laws. When God decides to move, impossibility collapses. And right now, God has decided to move on your behalf. Not because you are perfect, not because say you have done everything right, but because God is faithful, because God keeps promises, because God finishes what He begins. You are about to step into a testimony you never thought you would have. You are about to see doors open that you never imagined could open. You are about to witness solutions appear from directions you never expected. You are about to receive opportunities that will take your breath away. You are about to feel a level of peace that replaces every worry. You are about to experience restoration in areas you thought were permanently broken. God is not just bringing change, God is bringing transformation. And when God transforms, nothing remains the same. And as you move forward from this moment, I want you to feel the magnitude of what God is awakening within you. Because when God prepares to do the impossible, He first expands the capacity of your spirit to receive what your mind cannot yet comprehend. There is an enlargement happening within you, a stretching of your inner strength, a deepening of your spiritual sensitivity. You may not fully understand it, but something in you is growing, rising, elevating beyond the limitations that held you for so long. This is God reshaping you from the inside out so that when the impossible arrives, you will not shrink back. You will rise to meet it with boldness and certainty. There are moments when God does not change your situation immediately because He is changing the way you see yourself. God knows that if He elevates you without transforming your mindset, you may step into a blessing but fail to sustain it. So right now, God is strengthening the very foundation of your inner life. God is teaching you that your identity is not determined by circumstances, by setbacks, by the opinions of others, or by the mistakes of your past. God is reminding you that you are defined by what He has placed within. You are defined by resilience, by faith, by spiritual courage, by divine purpose. You have been molded through storms not to be fragile, but to be unbreakable. There is something powerful happening that you cannot see. God is rearranging the spiritual architecture of your destiny. God is closing pathways that lead to limitation and opening pathways that lead to expansion. God is pulling people out of your life who cannot handle the magnitude of where He is taking you. God is removing voices that weaken your faith and surrounding you with voices that amplify it. God is elevating your spiritual discernment so you can sense when a door is closing for your protection rather than seeing it as rejection. As you grow in this awareness, you will begin to understand that nothing is happening randomly. Everything is intentional. Everything is purposeful. Everything is preparing you to step boldly into the miraculous. You must realize that God does not send new blessings into old mindsets. God does not release extraordinary destiny into a heart still bound by fear. The impossible becomes possible when you step into alignment, not just with God's will, but with God's rhythm. You must learn to trust even when you cannot trace, to move even when you don't have clarity, to believe even when nothing seems to change. Because faith is not just believing God can do it. Faith is living with the conviction that God is already doing it. And as you cultivate this conviction, you will feel a shift, a spiritual surge that lifts you above discouragement, above doubt, above worry. God is strengthening your inner vision so that you can see beyond what your natural eyes can perceive. There are times when breakthroughs are delayed because your spirit must reach a level of maturity that matches the magnitude of the blessing. If God were to release something too early, your fears would sabotage what your faith has prayed for. This is why God sometimes allows you to walk through moments that demand spiritual endurance. Endurance expands you. Endurance builds capacity. Endurance reveals strengths you didn't know you had. And when the blessing comes, you will realize you are not waiting on God. God was waiting on you to become who you needed to be to hold what He was preparing to give. I want to speak to the parts of you that have felt forgotten, overlooked, or delayed. I want to speak to the dreams you buried because life convinced you they were impossible. I want to speak to the silent battles you never told anyone about. Hear me clearly. God has not overlooked what you've been carrying. God has not ignored the desires of your heart. God has not dismissed the petitions you've lifted in private. Every moment of yearning, every moment of struggle, every moment of waiting has been seen by God. And God has stored every prayer in the chambers of His divine timing. Nothing you've spoken, whispered, or cried out has been lost. It has only been waiting for its appointed moment. And when the appointed moment arrives, it does not come quietly. It comes with force. It comes with clarity. It comes with divine acceleration. When God releases the impossible, it sweeps through your life like a wind that rearranges everything in its path. Suddenly, opportunities emerge. Suddenly, resistance falls away. Suddenly, clarity replaces confusion. Suddenly, strength returns to places you thought were permanently weakened. Suddenly, favor begins to surround you in ways you cannot explain. And when this divine flow begins, nothing can stop it. People may try, circumstances may resist, doubt may whisper, but when God has set the motion of breakthrough, everything must bow to His command. There are moments when God does not simply open a door, God breaks the walls surrounding the door, so no one can ever close it again. And that is the kind of breakthrough God is preparing. Not temporary, not partial, not unstable, but permanent, undeniable, irreversible transformation. What is coming is not a momentary relief. It is a divine shift that will redefine the direction of your life. You must understand that the impossible is not something God does occasionally. The impossible is the signature of God. It is the language of God. It is the expression of His absolute authority. God is not intimidated by the size of your dream. God is not unsettled by the depth of your need. God is not overwhelmed by the complexity of your situation. If anything, the impossible you are facing is the very indication that God is positioning you for a miracle of greater magnitude than you ever prayed for. Sometimes God allows everything around you to collapse so He can rebuild it on a foundation that cannot be shaken. You've seen things fall apart, but what you don't realize is that they were falling into place. You've seen people walk away, but you didn't realize they were making room for those who are divinely assigned to your next chapter. You've seen plans fail, but you didn't realize it was because God was removing lesser paths to make room for a greater one. There are people who underestimate themselves because they measure their worth through the lens of failure. But God does not measure you by your failures. God measures you by your potential. God does not look at where you've been. God looks at where He is taking you. And God is about to take you into a realm where your past cannot follow, where your limitations dissolve, where your pain becomes your platform, where your story becomes the evidence of God's power. You may feel unqualified for what you're believing for, but God does not choose based on qualifications. God chooses based on destiny. You were marked long before the world seen you. God planted within your spirit the seeds of greatness, resilience, courage, wisdom, and vision. And those seeds are beginning to sprout now, pushing through the dirt of your experiences, rising above every layer of adversity, reaching toward the light of divine purpose. God planted something within you that cannot die, cannot be buried, cannot be silenced. What God has placed inside you carries the resilience of divine intention. There are times when you think you are waiting on a miracle, but the truth is the miracle is waiting on you to step forward, waiting on you to speak with authority, waiting on you to release the fear that has been holding you back, waiting on you to embrace a version of yourself that God has been calling you to become. Miracles arrive in the lives of those who dare to believe that God is greater than every impossibility. And you are being called into that level of belief. Do not underestimate what God is doing in your silent seasons. Silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. Silence is preparation. Silence is the deep work God does in the roots before the tree ever bears fruit. God strengthens you in private so that when the public blessing comes, you will be ready to carry it without collapsing under its weight. Your silent season has not been a punishment. It has been protection. It has been growth. It has been divine strategy. There will come a moment soon when the weight you feel will lift, when the confusion will clear, when the doors will swing open effortlessly, when the strength inside you will rise like a fire you cannot contain. And you will, that moment is not by your power, not by coincidence, not by chance. It is by God. And when God moves, it leaves a permanent imprint. It leaves undeniable evidence. It leaves transformation that cannot be reversed. You are approaching a moment when everything that once felt impossible will become your testimony. God is about to show you that what you thought was the end was only the beginning. That what you thought was broken beyond repair is being restored with greater beauty. That what you thought was lost forever is returning in a form far greater than before. God is rewriting your storyline with divine precision, and nothing will interrupt what He is crafting. Prepare yourself, not with fear, but with expectation. Prepare not with doubt, but with certainty. Prepare not with anxiety, but with confidence. Because God is not just doing something for you. God is doing something through you. God is doing something in you. God is elevating you into a realm where others will look to you as evidence that the impossible is not impossible. When God speaks, the atmosphere of your life is changing. The spiritual climate is shifting. The weight of old burdens is lifting. The doors of destiny are unlocking. And the path ahead of you is becoming illuminated by the guidance of God. And now, as you stand at this turning point in your life, I want you to feel the weight of this moment settling into your spirit. Because this is not just another message you heard and will soon forget. This is a divine summons. This is a call from God Himself for you to rise, to awaken, to step out of everything that has kept you small and step into everything God has been preparing behind the scenes. You cannot walk into the impossible while clinging to the familiar. You cannot step into a God-sized destiny while holding on to fear-sized decisions. This is the moment to ask yourself with complete honesty, what have I allowed to limit me? What fear have I allowed to silence me? What doubt have I allowed to control me? What blessing have I delayed because I refuse to believe that God could truly do what only God can do? This is the moment to confront every excuse, every hesitation, every internal barrier, and lay it down before God. I want you to feel the urgency of this truth. Your life cannot remain the same after this moment unless you choose to remain the same. God has already begun the shift. God has already opened the spiritual atmosphere around you. God has already placed a stirring within your heart, but God will not force you to walk into what He has prepared. You must decide, you must choose, you must step forward with the courage that says, I refuse to let another day pass without aligning my life with God's purpose for me. Because when you step into alignment, everything changes. Clarity comes, strength rises, hope returns, vision awakens, and the impossible begins to unfold not as a distant possibility, but as your lived reality. I challenge you now. Look deeply into your own life. Look at the places where you have been drifting instead of growing. Look at the dreams you abandoned because life convinced you they were too difficult. Look at the blessings you postponed because you feared disappointment. Look at the opportunities you let pass because you doubted your own worth. And then look at God. Look at the one who has sustained you through every low moment, who has lifted you when you felt nothing left, who has whispered strength into your soul when no one else could hear your cries. Look at the one who never left, never wavered, never doubted the greatness He placed in you. Today, let this be the day you renew your commitment to walk with God more closely than ever before. Not with half-hearted intention, but with fierce devotion. Not with occasional faith, but with unwavering trust. Not with scattered focus, but with the heart anchored fully in God's guidance. Let this be the day you declare that your steps, your plans, your decisions, your dreams, your actions, all of them belong to God. Because when God becomes the center of your path, everything in your life finds its rightful place. Your fears weaken, your resilience strengthens, your purpose becomes clear, your spirit becomes unshakable. And in this sacred moment, as your heart opens and your courage rises, I want you to make a decision that will define your future. Choose to believe that God has destined you for more than survival. Choose to believe that God has prepared you for more than ordinary living. Choose to believe that God is calling you into a life that reflects His power, His strength, His wisdom, and His limitless ability. Choose to believe that the impossible is not only coming, it is already unfolding step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment, as you align your life with Him. So lift your spirit, lift your faith, lift your expectations, walk forward with boldness, walk forward with conviction, walk forward with a heart surrendered to God. Because when your life becomes anchored in God, everything within you becomes awakened, empowered, and unstoppable. And from this day onward, may every step you take carry the certainty that the God who formed you, sustained you, protected you, and guided you is the same God who now leads you into a future overflowing with possibility, purpose, and the breathtaking power of the impossible.